Hey, good day. Mike Mata here. We're going to talk about the Synesis 100 gig full line rate analyzer and how to drive this tool. Basically, we start with the default agent. So you click on the agent. Here's the dashboard. This is the way it would start up, come up. But we're going to pick the agent. So think about in your data center, you would have the agent capturing 7 by 24 all the time. So we would basically start a capture. When you first got this box, put it in. You can name the device if you'd like, capture. We're just going to let it capture whatever's out there. Start a new capture. And we're going to go to our capture session. And you notice here is our capture session. We just started it here today, August 6th. And you can see the time that we started it, and it is capturing. It is running. We can look at that if we want simply by clicking that. And now here is the data that is flowing through, and I'm going to make this so that we can see it a little better. Maybe. There we go. So here's the time range so far of the capture, and we're capturing all the 8 channels that are in that particular device, or in this case there are 4, A, B, C, D. We have a maximum of 8. We can see the packet rate. We can see the number of bytes. We can see the number of packets. If there were any dropped packets, how many were broadcast, multicast, etc. And I can just pull out a time slice. So let's say that someone called and said, hey Mike, there's a problem, and it started at 14:35 or whatever, some time. So we're going to go find our time slice. We're going to pick our time slice. We're going to double click that time slice, and now it narrows our focus to just that particular time span. If we look here at the bottom here, we've got our choice of how do we want to view the information. I like throughput, as most of us network folks want to see how much traffic is flowing through, so we can see we hit a maximum there of about 43 megabits per second, 42 megabits per second, and again, that's just good information from a perspective of network folks. What's the flow, what's the speed. If you've got a 50 meg pipe, obviously you're kind of getting full there at least a couple times, and we could even drill into those further simply by selecting then just that particular time slice, double clicking it, and now we're just going to look at that one peak and see what were the top talkers. So let's figure out the top talkers. We're going to have to go back to our agent and stop capture here, and then we're going to look at the statistics. So you notice it is still capturing, so we're going to stop capture. And we are going to process those packets that it's captured during that time span. And you should see now our capture time from 4:35 to 4:40. We can then do the analysis and look at the statistics. Okay, so we're going to analyze this. Oops, sorry, that jumped. We're going to analyze this trace by clicking on analysis. I got to select my capture session. Sorry, missed a step. I want to use this one, not the other one. So we just stopped our capture, and we now want to analyze that particular capture session for all of the pairs, IP pairs, TCP pairs, and we will take a look for who are our top talkers. We can then save a trace from there in PCAP format, so we will let that analyze. And now that that analysis is complete, we should be able to click on the analysis. There we go. So we can see our 5 megs worth of traffic. Who were the and again, this is TCP. We're looking at TCP information right now as for source and destination ports. We can see the amount of traffic moved. If I scroll to the right, say I just wanted to zoom in on this very first conversation pair, I could just pull off that one trace, and we're going to do that in 1 second. But what I want to look at is what is the network round trip time, NRT, so we can see, when someone complains the network is slow, that we have our network round trip time, which is basically the TCP three-way handshake, which is, 0.34 milliseconds or 340 microseconds, so pretty quick. But it looks like our payload transfer time, the data transfer time is 146 milliseconds. Again, not horrible, but obviously that's where, if we're looking at the time between server response time, is 148 milliseconds of that, and then payload transfer time 146. These are the two places we're going to probably look for someone complaining things are slow. So let's just go ahead and look at that first one. I'm going to click Save Trace, and that should bring the trace back to my local. I can choose to bring it back to my local machine, and then open it in Wireshark and analyze it. So we'll name this file. You notice it creates a auto timestamp. We're just going to do, we'll just call it port pair. And we're not going to change anything there. We want to do that, and we'll just click Save Trace. Okay, so we notice here that it is saved, our port pair PCAP. It's basically an 8 meg file, so we're going to go ahead and now click download. It's saved it on the local machine, and it should now download it to my local hard drive, where I can then open it in Wireshark. And we can see it's downloading here. It's going to take it a little bit of time. And as you can see, it's brought up my Wireshark. Here's that trace, port pair, and we can then use all the things inside of Wireshark. We can look at the statistics, who are our conversations. So again, we picked just the one conversation pair. So that's all we see in this particular trace. We can see how many packets, how many bytes. Again, the duration of that connection was about 50 seconds. How much data was transferred. So again, our standard 3-pane decode with Wireshark. Frame information, Ethernet, IP, TCP. We have, all of that. We can see the sync act time, so we can see our relative time. The analyzer told us it was about 34 microseconds. 340 0.34 milliseconds or 340 microseconds. So again, it shows us that, so the analyzer is not lying to us. And we can see it's asking for an RTSP. There's the IP address. We could build filters now with inside of Wireshark, do anything that you want to do. You now are using Wireshark to analyze this particular conversation. Since we know that it's RTSP and RTP, we can see that. We can go to the telephony of Wireshark, telephony menu, go to RTSP, the packet counter. We can see further information about that, the rate. If there were any errors, broken, some success, how many requests, setup parameters, setups and plays, etc., the percentage of the traffic. We can also go look at, under the telephony menu, RTP streams, and there's an RTP stream here, RTP type. We can analyze that stream, and it tells us, you know, the jitter, max jitter, mean jitter, any of that kind of information. If there was packet loss, I don't think there is a reverse. It only found 1/2 of this particular payload sequence because I only selected half. Now let's close that and close. That's all that's in there actually is 1/2, but there are no lost packets of the conversation in this direction. So again, we have Wireshark to do our analysis should we choose. So again, that is the basics of how to drive the Synesis 100 gig analyzer, how to mine a specific piece of time and then the data out of it. My next video will go into filtering, how we can apply filtering and even some advanced filtering. I hope that was beneficial. So thanks for listening and make it a great day.